It's Sunday, it's 6 p.m. It's the Sunday Swinger Show. Let's get into it. How are you all doing? And happy Easter to all of you here on Easter Sunday. It's 6 p.m. So as each week, it's the Sunday Swinger Show. So we're going to run through the show as we do every week, starting with the trade recap, running our way down to Charge Your Asset, Altcoin of the week with Trader R, Bitcoin update by Trader R, and then it's over to our members where we're going to run through gold indices swing trades, altcoin swing trades, and our swing trade levels on Bitcoin. So with that said, let's jump straight into our trade recap from last week. So if we go over here to last week, the only one that I was looking at was Popcat. Now what we were looking at here on Popcat was, you know, to come up, fake up out of that range, out of this range, and then to come back into it for a short position. We also had a fractal there that we were looking at, which is this, and so far, like, it's holding the point of control. So this is still in play. This whole trade idea is still in play. I wouldn't write it off just yet. What I would like to see for this to be, you know, invalidated is holding against this value area high. So coming up above that value area high and giving, like, you know, holding with strength. If we do and we hold above that value area high with strength, well, then we can look to the next level, which is up here where you have quarterly pivots and you've got an anchored VWAP from the high. So no, that would be the sign of strength on Popcat. But for me, this trade setup is still in play. Not that one, but this one. This is still in play until I see what happens up here at that value area high. So inside a Pro Traders Lounge, like, we've been taking shorts, we've been scaling out of them at certain levels. You know, that got a nice drop from last week where we spoke about this idea of 23%. So if you have got into this position from up here, you would have to take profits at least at this stage. So that is what I'll be looking at. You know, nothing really changes as of yet with Popcat. You know, you could say this is a bit of a bull flag forming here. It's not the kind of bull flag I'd like to see, put it that way. So still the idea is in play. Number one, we come up here into that value area high here. So we come up into that value area high, we get a rejection where we'll look for a short trade and we'll trade that down to our level, you know, taking profits along the way here. But if we do get a failed auction or a swing failure of that value area high and these highs over here, these highs here, you know, this will be a really nice trade to trade that back down again. Now obviously that will depend on what's going on with Bitcoin and all of that as well. But if, you know, this one's all about patience and wait until it gets back inside that range to take the swing, and everything above that you're just looking for scalps in terms of shorts. If you get no reaction up here, simply, as I said, there's no trade. So that's the trade recap from last week. There's no point in running over any more on that. That's simply what I will be looking for with Popcat. So set your alerts up above the range, and yeah, let's see what happens. The other one that I'm going to go over was to Charge Your Asset as being Farcoin. So lots of messages came into the X account for Farcoin to be covered again. I didn't cover it over the last few weeks. I was keeping it for the members, but since it's Easter Sunday and we're going to keep this stream nice and concise today, I'm going to run over Farcoin for you guys, and we're going to have a quick run through of what we've been looking for since we started it, really kind of map out the whole thing for us. So for anyone who's been watching this for the last, you know, we're on this now 15 weeks. So anyone who's been watching this for the last, you know, 15 weeks or so, you'll know that this one has been very, very, very good to us. So we'll run through the trade setups that we've had on Farcoin, giving a bit of context and bringing us up to where we are right now. So if you can bring your minds right back to it, right back here at the start of February, you know, we had this idea of trapping retail traders by having that, you know, inverse head and shoulders to a fake out, where we had our left shoulder, our head, our right shoulder. This is where we were looking for the trade. We got that 50% or so move to the upside where we flipped short. Everybody on crypto Twitter or X was getting bullish up here, whereas we were flipping short. that gave us a really, really nice pullback with lots of trades along the way. A really nice pullback there from high down to low of 70% of a move to the downside. The target and the main target we had down here was that 19 cent region. We're sitting waiting for it for a long time, and we got it. So lots of, as I said, internal trades here, but the main area we're looking for was the 19 cent region, where we came down and we're looking for our swing trades down here. So took our swing trade from the low, which at this point is up, let's say up to the high, it was nearly 400%, down to where we are now, 300%. So we took that swing, and again, we were looking for potential places for this to reverse on this swing. So the next Sunday swingers that we done, we were identifying that we had this downtrend value area high lining up with a 382 and a 425, really nice levels. And we're looking for this for a potential, you know, this could be an area where you would reverse this swing. So we got into our positions and we traded that down where we got, in terms of a percentage, 44%. Now, this is where I stopped sharing the trades with YouTube and just keeping it for the members. So when we got into these short positions, and remember, we're still long from the lows, we then were looking for this setup here. So we were identifying with the previous range value areas where we rejected from the value area high. We came down, got a nice bounce, a nice drive up, but we were waiting for that deviation zone right below that range, down into a naked point of control, taking out the previous low, where again we got into a nice swing position to the upside. So compounding our levels to the low. That in itself was 170% to the upside. Fast forward on from that. So that was the last big swing we took. There was no reaction up the top of the range. There was a bare reaction up here in our reaction zone to the upside. So the trade continued, and that's what brought us into last week, where we had, you know, sideways price action, but identifying we have this previous range from over here back in December that we were working off, and we were waiting and waiting. It was a very, very slow week for everything last week. For anyone who was trading, it was a slow week. So I was personally waiting for there's lots of trades to be had in here, but I was personally waiting for the reaction zone that we gave on the members Sunday swingers last week, which we all got into our positions down here. We spoke through price action nearly on a 1 minute time frame, given updates from the mobile phone, doing analysis off the mobile phone and posting it into our members. And we got positioned for a nice move to the upside of 23%. You know, our members are not only taking the trades that we're given, but giving in excellent trade setups themselves, which, you know, we, in my opinion, some of the best traders in the world here are Pro Traders Lounge. Our members are fantastic. So you can see this is some of the fart squad, you could call them, inside inside in the lounge. So, you know, it's the place to be. We're trading this on lower time frames. We're trading this on higher time frames, and it's a great bit of fun as well. So we've got into this trade now. Last week we were identifying this as resistance when we're in this range, and now I'm going to look at it today and see, right, where are we? What do we have to trade today or for the week ahead? You know, what's the next probable trade if you're not in one at all? So let's look at it with that kind of a viewpoint. So bear with me. So start from scratch again. I want to have a look at the impulse on this. Okay. We have the 236 sitting down below this range. We could call it up here. Take one from here. Okay. Okay, so I really want to look at that 382 and 425, really good levels. If you want to find out where I got those levels, you can ask in the comment section. It's as easy as that. I've been using these for years now, and it's a really, really nice level for continuation or to gauge a move in general. So I'm really liking this here, you know, as a level to pull back. Already, if we just eyeball it, you can see if we took out this low, we'll be down into the 382. down into that zone, and we'll see, can we layer stuff onto this now and see where we go. So I also want to see our previous global levels. Okay. So for me already, this is a nice reaction zone. Global value area high, and there's a naked point of control in there. I must have had that from a previous week. Naked point of control there from a previous week. Swing of this low here. And right now up here, you know, with this sideways range that we've put in, we have indeed rejected off the value area or the point of control of this range. So you can see up here, point of control, we've rejected. We've not held the value area low, and we're starting to pull back now. So this could give a nice, you know, like a nice three-wave move down into that zone where we have the 1-to-1 sitting nicely. I would leave that 786 in there for a reaction. I'll take it out for now though. Now we need some more volume confluence down here. So we have kind of nice measured levels. Now we need some volume. I know we have the global value area high, but I'd like to see something a little bit more local to line up there, whether it's a VWAP or fixed range or what have you. Okay. Really like that zone. What else you have there? Like, is a retest of these previous highs in here? You know, I can't really see anything much with in terms of a point of control of the last few volume pulls we took, but nonetheless, that's a really nice level locally. Nice anchored VWAP lining up there as well. Fucking excuse me. Holding this area is super important. Okay, and let's have a look at this in terms of a trend line. You know what I don't like there is we have the neckline of this like inverse head and shoulders kind of in and around this area. This could be a failed impulse here, and I would treat this as reaction based only. Up here, scalps, you know, would only on the reaction if we get there. As the 1-to-1 is still sitting up above, right up above where we've got those quarterly pivots lining up. We've just tapped one. So I will play this one with caution when it comes down here. You know, maybe come down, go sideways for a bit, then stab it. And then I would see, does it get back up again? But it really, like maybe something like what happened here where you have a move, heads up, comes down, takes that low. Let's actually take a fractal of that. So it'll make sense. What if we were to get something like this? Then, where is that extension gone? No, the other extension I'm looking for. So that extension that we had to the downside, where we had a 786 coming in just before that 1-to-1. Let's put back in that 786. That would bring us into last week's swinger zone. For a bullish case, I have to say I really like this idea. I really, really like this idea. We change where that 382 is now, in fairness. 1 second. Wouldn't be much in it, but it would change where it is. So I'd be pulling that up here a little bit more. And our reaction. So, but we'll deal with what we have right now. I'm liking that idea. So sideways range, like so. So first we look for a reaction at the 786. Let's turn that down. First we look at a reaction at the 786. You know, if it keeps pulling back here, first we'll look for a little swing failure of that low. Potential for a drive up. If it doesn't drive up, it doesn't matter. This is the main target down here, the 382, 425 region. You know, but that would be a nice internal play in here if we did get that. Or something similar to this. You know, you a nice range building up sideways. It kind of makes sense after that big move up. It could make sense to, you know, put in a nice sideways range up here. I'm really liking this idea. Not too pushed on that big impulse up, but I do really, really like this idea. So move up. If she keeps coming down, that is, you know, look for this 786 to give a bounce. I will be taking multiple profits along the way because this is a totally different scenario to what it was down here. Totally different scenario. So that's only a little guide, but if we keep pushing up, I would still look for swing failures at this high. Okay, so let's look back up to those highs. The levels we're looking at last week. So I would still look for that 103 level. So $1 to 103 thereabouts will be my reaction zone to the upside. And yeah, so basically a deviation up here. Let's put it up here. If it keeps moving from where we are now, that is. Reaction zone. So about $1 to 103 thereabouts to the upside. So you have three areas to look for. One here. One here. And then up here into that zone there. That's what I'm looking for on Farcoin. So now I'm going to hand you over to Trader R, where he's going to cover his altcoin of the week and Bitcoin. So enjoy and To the members, we'll see you inside at protraderslounge.com very soon.
How we all doing, folks? Hopefully having a good Easter, good weekend. Weekend's almost over, but with the trading now tomorrow, be nice. Since we had a bit of a break on Friday, everything was closed, well, on the indexes and all that stuff. And the old gold, we'll be back online tonight now, which is nice, but we're going to be going over Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, LTC. If you remember during the week, I did a live stream on Twitter. Sorry. Did a live stream on Twitter. We went over this high here when we came down. I think I had put in this fractal then, looking for this to move down, higher low, and then lower high and drop down. We got to move down, alright. We didn't really take any lows up, but we got the higher low, potential lower high. The question is, do we get to move down now? You know, is this what's going on here? Doesn't really align anymore, does it? With the timing and the price action. But nevertheless, the price action and the levels are all the same. Down here we have the TR pocket. This is going to be my zone, my big zone. I'll be looking for a deviation of 77k for a potential higher low, which I think would be very nice. But for a zone up here, to be honest, I kind of will be looking for this because it came up and took the highs and we swing failed. The triangle here is kind of, it's meh, you know. I wouldn't really like to see this play out. I still think it might go down. I still think this thing comes down. I'm not in any trades on this, to be honest. It was a bit too slow for me to trade, if you get me. And I'd rather take the weekend off. So I did try and take a short up here. There was a TR pocket short, and I was looking for this to break down, just like it was here. But it came back up. Reaction was too strong. It reacted off that high nicely. And I got stopped out break even. Well, I closed it for a bit of profit. It was a tiny bit of profit. I think it was like 58 quid or something. Tiny. But now looking at things like, yeah, you do have that potential triangle. Like, if this thing wants to, it can actually just do this, you know. It could actually just do this triangle, right? I still think this is going to move down. I still do. But if it wants to move up, you could be looking for something like this and then down. So pretty much the same. You see inside this, yeah, this kind of triangle, fake out up and down. And then here you had this tiny, same kind of thing, fake out up and down. But now you have this triangle here. So if this thing wants to move up, it can, like, you know, it is there. It is there. And then you have this TR pocket then to come in and try and stop it. Along with, I think we had a bit of a supply here as well, didn't we? Along with this supply right here, lovely looking supply. I'm gonna lock that in there and I'll go to the 4 hour. Yeah, a bit of a zone here. You know, for a person that's not in a trade, or any people that are not in trades, this is probably one I would look for, to be honest. Like, bit of a fake out, a triangle up to the top side, and then a move back down below the high. Why not? Like, weekly pivots are going to be inside here. Not going to be the best weekly pivots this week. The ones we have last week's ones, well, this current week was going to be, let me have a look at this again. They are sitting just down here, so they're not, well, I'll be surprised if they will get tapped tonight, but they're looking like they're going to be left for the next week, and they're going to be down here as another target. So let's see what happens. I will check something else too, though. How are we doing on the liquidity? You have a bit of a cluster. You would knock out a nice bit there, to be fair, but I would say if it was going to do it, it would do it on this one, to be honest, on the linear scale. And there's plenty to the downside. Look at that nice little cluster there. That's lovely. I won't mark it in because it's already marked in with the TR pocket and the supply, so I'm going to leave it as is. That is my plan on Bitcoin, right? We either move down, or if we're going to move up, I'm really looking for this fake out into this area here and then a trade down. Preferably, I would like to move up so I can actually get to trade, but this one here, I'm just not in. I'm just not even going to bother trading it. There's other stuff to trade and I'm more interested in. But that is Bitcoin, alright? Ethereum. We went over Ethereum last week. We were looking for that yoke to swing failed into my red box. And boy, did she get up there and just not do it. She went up and just ran the high a little bit and just dove down. She was like, nah, not getting that zone. So the zone, I wouldn't really keep the same thing again. Like, I would just get rid of this, get rid of this. Plan down here, I would leave the same. I actually would just leave this the same. Leave it alone. Come down to this zone, I would be looking for maybe a higher low. Actually, now I'm looking at it, to be I actually won't be looking for this anymore, to be honest with you. I don't know. Let me just see. I have to zoom out a bit here and see. Would that even look right? Boom, boom. Why not run the low one more time? You know? Why not do something like this? Why not do something like that? Come down to this zone here. Log. There we go. That would be a bit of an area, like, but Run this low here. Into the TR extension under the low, like that would be some zone. Because looking at her, she doesn't look like she's mustering up the strength to go up. She looks like she's gonna roll over again. Maybe take that low, and we might get a swing fader pattern up then. It's the better trade, you know. It is the better trade, and it's all about finding what's the better areas. Like the one I had there, it's if we came up and swing failed high. One from last week, we come up and swing failed high within the time zone that I had drawn, but she extended it too far now. Like it's building up a lot of liquidity, so I'm kind of thinking it goes further down if it comes down. And I was thinking this will go up, hit that, boom, you have a move up. But now it's just so slow here. Like, what's it running off of? The 6 hour sling is holding it down. Interesting stuff. I will be looking for this to come down to this area, so this week or next week, and that'll be my next zone on ETH. XRP, we have a higher time frame zone above the highs. Still, best one we have. But what is next on this? We swing failed the highs, maybe come down. I don't have any other zones. I don't want to be looking for a long zone on this. The only area I want to leave is this area here. I'm going to leave it like that. I like the higher time from play here on XRP, and I'm going to leave that one zone because all she's been doing is giving you the better trades on the swing fader pattern. Like here, you came up, swing failed the highs, right? We didn't do this one, but you swing failed this high, big trade down. You swing failed this high, fairly decent trade, but that took some time too. Like for how much? 10%. So it's not bad. I'm gonna be waiting to see what happens here. You know, maybe we might get lucky and this thing just pops up here. If this thing pops up here, that means Bitcoin's going to go down, like, you know. You do straight moves on some of these altcoins like XRP, BCH, SHIB, that just gives you a signal that Bitcoin is about to drop, you know. So always remember that. But XRP is going to remain the same. Not going to trade this one until I see something better. At the moment, I don't see much. Even if I pull the TR pocket off and that, I wouldn't really like that zone either. So I'm going to let this be and let the price action marinate a bit, and then we'll find out what's maybe next week. Might look at it again. LTC, the plan is still the same. I still like this plan, to be honest. 12 hour thing, put in the high with a wick, which is actually wow. And we have the TR extension underneath the low. That will give you a nice swing fader pattern, to be honest. So that's a nice decent opportunity, and then up here for the highs for a short opportunity. I think the pivots were there too. But we're getting into the late stage of the month, folks, so I don't know if these pivots are going to get hit at all. Yeah, we're getting into the later stage of this month. I don't think these will get hit at all. Quarterly, though. Yeah, alright, we have the quarterly pivots up there. So, yeah, this one is still clear. It's nice. So, plan is still the same on this. Let's see what happens. Does he get a higher low move up, or does he take those lows and move up? But these are the zones I'm going to be waiting on XRP. Oh, no, and NTC. But that's really it today, folks. Short and simple. There isn't too much price action, like, so, you know, levels are still the same in a way, but still, let's see what happens and see what we get. And make sure you trade safe, folks. Enjoy your holidays, and let's get back to it this week. Good luck with the trades, and see you later. Adios.